Hi everybody, this is Carla, and this time I'm back with a review for episode 18 of season 5 of Haven, titled Wild Card. And I have to say, this episode started out slow for me, I wasn't really as into it as I used to be for the previous episodes. It started off, with them discovering the troubles and the trouble of the day and not really figuring out what it was, and then Nathan started getting troubled and Dwight started getting affected by the trouble, and then Charlotte and Audrey, and it wasn't really getting to me. Dwight's affection was interesting. The other three I didn't care about, but it was okay. It didn't necessarily have me hooked. When the tarot thing came up, that was where the turning point for me. I really like the idea of this woman being able to, curse people with tarot cards. That was very interesting. And I really like the whole thing with the numbers and the fact that they were marked. So, when they have an interesting trouble, I'm immediately interested. So that was kind of the turning point for me. But also there was the whole Dave thing and Vince thing, and they were kind of there for the most part. I didn't really care up until Gloria revealed that they had all been missing time. That was interesting because I love stories that kind of have an unreliable narrator, and Haven is kind of like that sometimes, except in this moment we didn't even know our narrator was unreliable, kind of. We think we're seeing everything they see, but I guess this time we're not, and that made it a lot more interesting. I enjoy the fact that they went to Gloria and she brings out a really friggin' old EKG machine, and she's like, yeah, I can try this, and they're like, yeah, let's get back our memories, dude. Yeah, that doesn't happen, it's you can, once you damage neurons, there's no coming back from that. That's why they tell you don't use drugs, don't use alcohol, because if it destroys your neurons, then you're gone. So it was interesting that they were like, Gloria, can you fix it? And Gloria's like, dude, you can't do that. That doesn't happen. So I thought that was great. I love that she mentioned the intern again. It's been a while since we saw the intern, so that was funny. And I always like throwbacks to previous seasons, so I like that. But just the idea that they're all missing time, I found to be very interesting. And if they are missing time, the three of them, does that mean that the others are too? Is maybe Croatoan closer than we thought he was? Speaking of Croatoan, then, finally, I had a moment there when I kind of went, wait, Charlotte didn't know about Croatoan? I could have sworn that she knew at some point. I thought that it had been mentioned at some point. I guess it wasn't, but whatever, she knows now, and she basically says the Croatoan is the devil of the void, basically, and they think it escaped, it's now in Haven, and it's basically because it's from the void, it eats stuff from the void, which means troubles, which means that he kills people to eat their trouble, basically. That is a really great explanation, because I've been kind of iffy since last season about this whole void thing, and this whole aether thing. It wasn't really the explanation I wanted to hear, but they're kind of bringing all the loose ends together, and I like that, especially with Croatoan being a creature of the void, and the idea that Charlotte's husband died in the void because he was banished and blah blah blah. It seems to fit with the flashback Mara had last season, because it seems like a really old civilization that they have on the other side, but at the same time they're very scientifically advanced in a way. like Charlotte is all about science, right? So it kind of fits with that, with the idea that they would be banishing people. It's very Survivor like. They banish people into the void if they can't control them and whatnot. So I thought that fit well. I'm warming up to this void idea. I'm still not buying the barn thing. Like, why do you need a barn to pull things back into the void? I mean, really? It couldn't have been anything else. It couldn't have been a vacuum cleaner. It had to be a barn. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I'm starting to warm up to this theory, so maybe by the time everything is revealed, I will finally be okay with it. Then, we have this whole idea that Audrey and Charlotte have to build a new barn, and for that they need to harvest the aether, so they can build the barn out of aether. Okay, I liked the fact that if they do it together, they sort of work faster at it. I loved just the way it came about. They realized what the way was to do it. It's just Audrey pointing out that the first time she manipulated aether was not because she knew she could, it was because she thought she had to save Nathan. So there was an emotional involvement, and it brings me back to the previous episode as well, because I was so happy with that, because you could see the different ways Charlotte and Audrey had of thinking, whereas Charlotte is a lot more logical and analytical. Audrey is all about the emotions, and they did that again this time around, and I love that, because they're being consistent, and that's great. And you could definitely see Charlotte's like, hey, it's science, you should be able to replicate it. But then Audrey's like, no, it's about the emotion behind it. And I guess, if you're talking about something from the void, which is kind of beyond all the science these people could ever make, could ever use, which is why Charlotte's husband got himself banished, because the void is sort of beyond, right? So it makes sense that it wouldn't be sciencey, it would be emotional kind of thing. It would react to people's emotions. So I like that. And then, of course, once they sort of realize that they don't want to lose each other, of course Charlotte goes and dies. I mean, was I expecting anything else? It killed me, because I really started to really like Charlotte. I'm a scientist, so immediately I'm kind of drawn to characters like her. And now that I knew that she was good, it was easy to start liking her a lot, especially when she got together with Dwight again, because I shipped them. So I really should have known, because this is TV. TV does this to me all the time. When I start getting attached to people, they kick the bucket. So yeah, I should have known, but it's still, it hit me hard. Like, I mean, I'm not a crier or anything, but I was kind of really hit by it. That, of course, at the moment, she and Audrey realize that they don't want to lose each other is, of course, the moment they lose each other. I thought it was very ingenious how they did it with the lover's card, because Audrey's like, that's gonna be a good thing, right? And I'm like, reuniting yourself with an old lover is not necessarily a good thing. Especially when you have an ex like Charlotte's, right? So it's a very delicate thing. I like that he didn't die. I mean, I sort of saw that one coming. I mean, as soon as she said he was banished into the void, I'm like, yeah, he wasn't. He became the monster. That was pretty obvious. So, I mean, the suspense there, not the best thing, but it's nice. So I guess now we have our big bad. I am insanely curious to know if Charlotte's ex-husband is going to be William Shatner. Okay, I need him to be William Shatner. And honestly, I'm just sort of like every time someone new is mentioned in this show, I'm like, ooh, is that William Shatner? So, but I think if he's going to be the big bad, then probably this one time it really will be William Shatner. So I guess I have to wait and see watch me be wrong. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but it would be really cool if the big bad of the show in general turns out to be Shatner. That would be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. That's mainly the reason why I really, 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 really want to see the next episode, like right now, because I just want to know if Shatner is it. But I guess it's time for Audrey to meet her father now. I don't assume that reunion is going to be as joyful as hers with Charlotte was, but we'll see. Since everything is about emotions now, you never know. Audrey might be able to convince him to not, destroy everything. You never know. As far as the Duke subplot goes, always nice to see Seth. I wish I could have seen a bit more of the road trip. Of the road trip with the two of them, instead of just seeing them at their destination. It was cool that Duke wasn't fooled by the guy. I like that they didn't make it too easy, because it's not. For a moment when they got to the gas station and there was that old man there, I was like, no way. They're really gonna make it that random old man they meet. This is the first person they meet right when they get to the place. Like, that is just way too easy. So I'm glad they didn't go that way. I'm glad the gas station dude wasn't the guy either, because that was interesting. And I mean, Duke would know, right? He basically conned people for a living for years, so he would know when he's being conned, especially with his trouble. So yeah, I like that. As for this new guy who suddenly appeared in the end, I have no idea who he is. I have no idea what he wants. If he turns out to be the husband rather than Shatner, I might be a bit disappointed. But I don't know. I mean, who is this guy? Surely this is something we've never seen. So I guess just have to wait for them to tell me. But it was interesting. He's clearly not just any guy. And we'll see. I don't really know that Duke wants to get rid of the curse, as he calls it. I don't know that he should. Maybe it's like critical to save Haven, which is what I'm thinking, because otherwise, why would we need to see it? But I guess we'll see, and this guy will hopefully give us some answers. We are coming up on halfway through the season, so I hope that Duke gets his answers soon and comes back to Haven, because I have a feeling they're going to need him there around. I guess we'll see. And as far as the ending goes, like I said, it really hit me hard that Charlotte died. I think she is dead. I think she is dead, but I also think, since we're dealing with all this weird magic-y, supernatural, aether, void stuff, that it might be possible to bring her back to life, because I really want her to end up with Dwight. I mean, come on. How many wives does he have to see die? That's so not fair. And I know she's not his wife, but girlfriend, whatever. I really want her to end up with Dwight, and I really want her to be there for Audrey, so I'm hoping, like, fingers crossed, hoping that they can somehow bring her back to life. And since we're missing time, they might just be able to, like, bring back, like, send people back in time or something. So, I don't know, as soon as any time-related troubles start popping up, I'm gonna be cheering for Charlotte to come back to life. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, this was an episode that started off slow, but soon enough it became clear that there was an interesting trouble. There was an interesting arc with Charlotte. They're tying back together plot lines from previous seasons really well. So is it one of my favorites this season? No. But it was good. I mean, I don't really have much complaints, and it was emotional. It did good service to the characters, and it has me really excited as to what's coming up from here. We got a new big bad. We have a new random mysterious dude who just appeared out of nowhere. And we have people losing time randomly, or maybe not randomly. You never know. We have to see. I really want to see what's coming up next, where they're going with this. So, yeah, not as crazy exciting as the previous episodes have been, but it did its job. It's a good episode. It's entertaining. It really got better by the end, so I have no complaints about it, not really. And that's about it for my review. So, if you guys want to see more Haven reviews for the previous episodes, be sure to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have a bunch of Haven reviews. We also have reviews for other TV shows, books, movies, whatever you want. It's there, so be sure to check it out. And I will see you guys in my next review. So, bye.